Welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. Scoring the players' time now after a win. A Newcastle United win. This is a very eerie feeling. I'm joined by Karl, who's been a busy boy today on the watch along and the fan reaction. Karl, how are you?
I'm absolutely over the moon, mate. Absolutely over the moon. I'm not letting my pals in my WhatsApp group get me down, saying Steve Bruce deserves credit. I know we'll speak about that later, but yeah, I'm over the moon, mate. Brilliant from everyone. Absolutely fantastic performance.
Yeah, the numbers above 6 out of 10 have been swiftly brought out of
Where are
retirement
they?
for this one. But I'll let you start, Karl, with your namesake, Karl. Karl Darlow, how did he get on today?
There was a few. I know you wanted. You were surprised that Dubravka wasn't starting, and I understand that. And I think at times today that could probably enforce your reasoning behind that as well, because there were a lot of aerial battles that you feel a bit uncomfortable with, in terms of him coming to punch the board or not being able to get his hands properly on the ball. There was a couple that I was worried about, but he made some really good saves as well. So he did his job in the end, and I'm based on today's performance. I'll give him a 7.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had a wobbly start, didn't he? As West Brom equalised at home to Fulham, 1-1 now there. He had a wobbly start, didn't he? But he grew into the game, and he only had 2 shots to save. I think his most serious save to make was that Richarlison shot from outside the box, which was a testament to the other lads. But yes, Darlow gets a 7.5. I'm going to have... You know what? I'm going to start on the left-hand side, and I'm going to have Jamal Lewis because I stick up for him a little bit, and I was a massive fan of this transfer. And this was by far and away, because he has been disappointing, this was by far and away his best performance in a black and white shirt today. He was absolutely superb. Iwobi was... You wouldn't have even known he was on the pitch. That's why he got took off. He was absolutely fantastic. Got the assist on the break for the second goal. It's a case of I'm going to give him an 8.5. I thought defensively and attacking, got up that line, worked really well with Fraser again, and worked well with ASM when he came on as well. I thought he was absolutely superb. That is the Jamal Lewis that I thought we were buying. That's the Jamal Lewis I want to see more of as well. He was absolutely superb, and it was great to see, because a lot of these lads, Lewis included, have been so out of form, and whether you put that down to the system they were playing or the coaching on the training pitch or the players themselves, who have underperformed, let's face it, in recent weeks. But today, Jamal Lewis, absolutely superb for me. I don't know what you think, Karl.
I do. I think I've said quite a lot in terms of not being overly impressed with Jamal Lewis defensively, but that was based on I think it was the first and second games, and I've also said that I'm always happy about how he progresses forward with the ball, and I just think that unfortunately become a scapegoat of I'm positive about him, and I don't think this season is telling enough to say how good of or how bad of a player he is, because of the crap system that he's been in, unfortunately. But today was a breath of fresh air. Good to see him have a really good game, and I think that's well-deserved rating, definitely.
Yeah, I want to see more of it. Let's shift across the back line. Jamal Lascelles, Karl, got took off at just after half time, early on in the second half. I think word has it, hamstring, so he'll be touch and go for Tuesday. In fact, I would doubt it that he would be playing on Tuesday. But how do you think he got on when he was on the pitch?
Yeah, he was all right. I think he was probably on thin ice maybe with that yellow card, so he was a little bit tentative. But didn't really see him put much of a foot wrong. But just because of the amount of time that he was on the pitch, I'd give him a 6. And that's not to say that he had a bad game. I just don't think there was, I can't say he did enough to get anything else right now, personally.
I think kept Calvert-Lewin quite quiet in that first half. But yeah, if he was on the pitch 90 minutes, he'd probably be getting
it would be higher rated, 100%.
Yeah. It's a bit of a problem with Lascelles as well. But when he starts to get back in the team this season, he picks up a little niggle or a knock here and there. It must be quite frustrating for him. But Lascelles gets a 6. We carry on down the defensive line. Fabian Schar. Who says Fabian Schar can't play in the back four? I said in the membership video, click that join button below if you want to become a member. I've been doing I've just started a little series of predicting a Bruce 11, comparing it to the 11 I would play. And I said before this game in that members video that I think, judging by that second half against Leeds, I think Fabian Schar is worth taking a punt on in a back four, the way he was still bringing that ball out in the second half at Leeds. And he's kind of proved that today.
Yeah.
I thought he was really impressive defensively, and it probably helped having another midfielder in there above them, the three in midfield. That's probably helped, but Schar for me was superb, and I'm giving him an 8. Calvert-Lewin didn't have a sniff at goal.
No,
he had one poor shot on goal, which was never troubling Darlow, and that was that. Really, really quiet for considering the talent Everton had on the pitch. I mean, James Rodriguez went from a world-class player to a whiny little bitch at times today.
Yeah.
And that was a testament to Manquillo, who we'll rate soon, and Lewis when they swapped sides, and the lads at the back as well. Absolutely superb from Schar. Dispelled a lot of myths, and again, great to see today in a back four. So long may it continue, because we're having some injury problems again.
Yeah.
In that back line. I'm not doing Javi Manquillo because I will have to eat my words to my podcast wife, Mr. Greenwood. I'll leave that to you, Karl. Javi Manquillo, great performance today.
Yeah, I think for me, I'll echo your Jamal Lewis rating. I think, he was huge presence today. Played really, really well. Great defensively, good going forward when he needed to as well. I think he had something like over 55 attacking touches, which is good for a fullback, especially when playing against Everton. And like you said, nullifying that threat from the likes of James Rodriguez as well. I've always said myself, I felt he was the best of a bad bunch in terms of the fullbacks that we've got on that right hand side. But again, it's consistency, isn't it? I think Lee made a good point in the watch along that you've got Kraft on the bench and he thought he was going to start because it was almost his turn to start. So we need someone to cement that position, and whether it's him or, even if Murphy's playing in a wing back position, then fine. But one of those two needs to take a stronghold on this position. He made a really good credit account of himself for doing that today.
Yeah, I agreed with Lee. I thought it would be Kraft, and I put in my own 11. I would have stuck Kraft in there purely because he gives you that bit of extra defensive solidity. Again, best of a bad bunch because he struggles getting forward. But love being proved wrong. So Manquillo was absolutely superb today. One little minor jot where he got megged for one of Everton's chances, but I'm not going to hold that against him because he was cracking.
Sucker still do taxi, because that would have been right on there.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Manquillo, the shirt's his now at right back.
Yeah.
The shirt is his, and it's his to lose. Moving on to the midfield three. I'm going to take. Do you know what? I am going to eat a bit of humble pie. Actually, I'm going to take Jeff Hendrick.
I think we're all going to do that, mate.
Absolutely superb. Fuck me, did he cover some ground? He was everywhere, like a lot of them were. He was absolutely superb again today. Not again. He was absolutely superb today. Not again. But again, like Lewis, probably his best game in a black and white. Well, he was wearing yellow, but best game in a Newcastle shirt. Broke up play. Again, it really helped, I think, having an extra man in there. Worked so hard, cut up play, got forward, helped out in attacks. I'm giving him an 8.5. I think he was a player that was worthy of a Newcastle shirt. He was superb. So I was harsh on him last time out at Leeds. More than happy to eat my own words about Jeff Hendrick. I thought he was absolutely superb, real strong, because that would have raised a lot of eyebrows, him sticking in the starting 11. I think we all would have said when that team sheet came out at 11:30 in the AM, oh no, Shelvey and Hendrick again. What is going on? But
I literally echoed the complete opposite as to what he's done today. Like in the watch alongs, I said to Lee, him and Shelvey can't cover ground. it's just not, you can't expect them to cover from our own 18-yard box to the opposition's 18-yard box. And like you said, I'm happy that I've been proved wrong. And I think, forgive me if I might be wrong, but I don't think we've seen Hayden or a three in the middle with Hendrick and Hayden playing together. I might be wrong on that.
No, we haven't. The last time I think we played 4-3-3 was before Hendrick joined, and it was the second game of last season where we got absolutely spanked at Norwich, where we had Hayden, Shelvey and Sean Longstaff in there, but that didn't work that day, but it sure did today. But yeah, absolutely superb from Hendrick, a well-deserved 8.5. Go on, you can take his partner in crime, John Joe. How do you rate his showing today? Much better, wasn't it?
Yeah, he did today what I've implored about him for so long, and it hurts me. Like, it's hurt me this season to get on board with everyone saying that, he's not a good enough player for Newcastle, and I don't believe that. I really don't, and I never have done it. I've questioned his work rate at times, as many people have, but I genuinely do believe, maybe Maximin aside, that he's technically the best footballer that we've got in the side. And I know that might have people raising a few eyebrows, but I think he's a fantastic footballer. His attitude can be really crap at times, but he's that type. He is a luxury player in a sense where you have to have two workhorse midfielders around him for it to work. If not, he's going to get found out. And I think having Hayden and Hendrick having the games that they've had today has allowed him to be his better version of himself. So yeah, I'm going to give him an 8 today. I thought his delivery from corners, like beating the first man, I know it's ridiculous, but he did it. He did it.
Yeah, pretty much all the corners beat the first man today. Fraser was on him early on, and then when he went off, Shelvey took over, and they all beat the first man, didn't they? It was odd.
Absolutely. So he was another one, exactly the same, echoing what you said with Hendrick. He's had his best performance for a while.
Yeah, great to see. There was glimpses of it in that second half against Leeds of the old Shelvey coming back, because he has been absolutely terrible lately. But yeah, great to see. Shelvey gets an 8. The last of the midfield trio, Isaac Hayden, back in his proper position today, bless him. And it was just a typical battling Isaac Hayden performance. It was just superb. He's the first name on the team sheet. He's our best right back. He's arguably our best centre back. He's our best centre mid. The lad's he can do it all and puts in 100%. Yeah, absolutely brilliant performance again. I think I'm probably going to match him with Shelvey's score and give him an 8 as well. Maybe a bit harsh because he is an underrated player. Geordie Sandcaster's given him a 9.
Yeah,
I'm sticking with 8.
I'll get your score because he does a lot of work that goes unnoticed. But I agree with what you're saying, 100%. I think it's telling as well. I spoke to quite a few. We all have speaking to Arsenal fans over the last few weeks that Wenger didn't want to get rid of him, and that's telling. You can see why, because he rarely has a bad game, and like you said, wherever he goes, he's the one that is going to do a job. So
yeah. And he was the one that was more sat in front of that back four, kind of sweeping up everything and giving that extra bit of solidity in that midfield, which just was so telling. I mean, this Everton side is the best Everton side since they finished 4th under Moyes.
Yeah.
And it's a really impressive Everton team, and they're a proper... I can't speak highly enough of Everton because they are a genuine team going places, and they've got one of the best managers in the world. Kind of like when we had Rafford, like, what the hell's he doing there? So...
When you'll say it yourself, mate, when Hayden's played his best football, and this isn't just comparing Rafa and Bruce, but when he was under Rafa, he played this position the majority of the time, and it's because it allows then Shelvey to be able to do his work. But not just that, we had Lejeune and Schar who were playing excellent ball playing centre half, so it allows them to attack as well, and he's there to cover either way wherever he needs to, and he's just fantastic at it. Really underrated footballer, really is.
Yeah, should be in the England squad. You can have Miggy Almiron. That lad was everywhere today. NUFC on Twitter put out his heat map.
Yeah.
It's just he covered every blade of grass today, didn't he?
Yeah, I think was it something? It was well over 10K. I think he did, or something like that. Which is impeccable. Liam always says he runs a lot, and he does. But he's so much more than that. He was fantastic going forward. He was fantastic when he needed to get back. And I think the only real thing that didn't come from him today is a goal, and that's fine. I don't mind that. I think we'll get onto Wilson, but I think other than him, he was arguably the best player on the pitch. But I am going to go for. I'm going to leave my 0.5 and I'm going to go a 9, and that will come down to my thoughts on Callum Wilson's score because he's got 2 goals. But yeah,
9 for Almiron. Yeah, I agree with that. He was absolutely sensational. Again, no coincidence. He's playing his best football when played in his correct position.
Imagine that.
This thing ain't rocket science. You know, play players in their correct position, and look what happens. We've put in our best team performance of the season. A good point from John there. He is a bit one-footed, absolutely, yeah. But again, when you're playing out on the right, it don't help.
Definitely.
So he was absolutely. I cannot big him up enough. Again, I completely agree with what you say. The only thing missing was a goal. Superb Miggy Almiron today. Ryan Fraser, I thought, was very good as well. It'd be great to see him fully fit. Got a good 65 minutes before he was replaced from Bear by ASM. Worked really well with Jamal Lewis. I'm going to give him a 7.5. Put in some great deliveries from corners.
Yeah.
And some great crosses were flying in throughout the game. And his were probably the pick of the bunch.
I think he had over 12 or something stupid.
Again, and he put in a wonderful through ball that Wilson should have buried in the first half, which when you were looking at it in real time, you think, I hope we don't come to rue these missed chances. He's getting fitter and fitter, and I want to see a fully fit Ryan Fraser because he's one hell of a player. 7.5 from me. Callum Wilson, Karl, 2 goals, could have had 4.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
he wanted a hat trick, and he's disappointed in himself. He's a really, really harsh self-critic. 2 goals, worked his absolute socks off like they all did. What did you rate him today?
It just, I'm giving him a 10, and that's one because he's got the 2 goals, but more so because he's run his socks off, like you said. And I understand some people aren't as sold on Callum Wilson, and their reasoning for that is because he wasn't doing much in the last few games. But you've got to understand that when you've got the wingers playing in the positions that they need to be playing, or attacking players playing in the positions they need to be playing, and they're performing, that's when he's going to perform, because otherwise he just gets singled out because he's the one furthest up the field, and we can't expect him to do everything. So of course he's going to walk around at times and get pissed off. Anyone would, because you can't get back in the game because then we've got no outlet. So you're handcuffing him at the end of the day. And today we were able to just let him free, and this is what happens when he's let loose with the right players around him and the right tactics. He gets goals. At the end, 10 goals in arguably like a poor performance from us this season overall. And he still got 10 goals. When was the last time we had a striker that scored 10 goals in the Premier League? Was it Papi Cisse, maybe?
Yeah, probably. And West Brom have just gone 2-1 up as well at Fulham. I completely agree. I mean, Rondon, if he was fit all season, probably would have got that many. But I completely agree. I think them first 2 chances, because that header, which was absolutely...
Yeah, it was
probably the hardest chance that he had all game.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I mean, Andy Carroll would have been proud of that header in his peak. Kind of like that one he scored against Sweden all them years ago. But absolutely amazing header. I mean, bless him, Pickford. If he had slightly longer arms, he still wouldn't have got it.
No,
but
definitely not.
Yeah, I think them 2 chances in the first half, I think that spoke. He was kind of rusty in a way, because although he's been playing through all these games, he hasn't had anything to go off.
No, absolutely.
He hasn't had any clear-cut chances, and it just seemed like he was a striker that was a bit rusty. And it just goes to show, give him enough chances and he'll bury him, and he's buried that header, which was the hardest chance of the lot. And then when the game was, he just put it beyond doubt, didn't he? Yeah. He was absolutely awesome.
Like you said, on another day, he's got 4 goals. at the end of the day.
Quite easily. Kieran Clark replaced Jamal Lascelles. Defensively sound, solid. You know what you're going to get from Kieran Clark these days. I'm giving him a 7. He'll probably come in and play on Tuesday with Lascelles pulling a hamstring. So Clark and Schar against Palace, you'd feel fairly comfortable with that. Kieran Clark gets a 7. ASM, Karl, another 25 minutes, half an hour in the bank. How did you think he got on?
I don't think he was as effective as he was or as prominent as he was in the Leeds game. That being said, he's played a wonderful pass to Lewis to set up the second goal. And yeah, I think there was that Diego Maradona turn as well. But he clearly makes a difference, even if he's not doing as much. His energy and the type of person that he is will just it must be contagious to the players as well, who are already in good spirits because we were playing well. But he's just someone that needs to be in the side, and I just hope we manage him properly in terms of getting him back to full fitness. I don't want to start him and say, right, go out there and do it for 90 minutes. The same with Fraser. If we're going to play them, if you're going to start them, get them to give everything for 45 minutes. If that's what they've got, then bring them off, or vice versa. Do it in the second half. Fraser, like you said, has looked much better, and hopefully we can get Maximin to that sort of fitness pretty quickly, because we do miss him. We do miss that Maximin that we come to know and love from last season, and I think he's going to want to prove as much as he can, because he's going to want to break into that France side at some point. I'm not having that he's just happy he's on a 6-year contract here, because he's someone that wants to play football and play it well, and yeah, I'll give him a 7. Rating wise, I think
that's fair, because that second goal all came from ASM dispossessing Seamus Coleman.
Yeah,
and again, it's another one who's just coming back from COVID. So again, more minutes in the tank. Steve Bruce, or is it Graham Jones? Steve Bruce now switched to a 4-3-3. We all thought it was 5 at the back when the teams came out, but no, 4-3-3, a real sense of Newcastle United. It actually looked like Newcastle United for a change. Let's see if we can agree on a rating, Karl, before the last word coming up with Liam Fordy. More attacking intent. As I say, it looked like a Newcastle United side with more identity and, you know, a real performance, picking up off the back of that second half against Leeds. Substitutions were made at the correct times. I know he only used 2, but 60-65 minutes correct. Graham Jones was very vocal on the touchline, which is what we needed. There's not enough talking, not enough loud voices in that dressing room and on the touchline. So Graham Jones made a welcome addition in his first game. We have to assume that Jones was a Bruce appointment for now. Time will tell whether it was a Bruce appointment or a Newcastle United Lee Charnley appointment. I'm torn between a 7 and an 8. I don't know about you, Karl.
This is really tough for me, because, like, I don't want to give him any credit for today. And I know people, and I've had this with some lads outside of this, that surely you have to give him credit, and we have done in the past. We have, but I've seen far too much of him over the last 18 months to believe that he had any input in this today. And I know that might sound stupid, because you think, well, Graham Jones has got a report to him, but has he though? I'm not sure that he is. I'm genuinely not sure that he is, because there were times on the sideline where Steve Bruce was looking at Graham Jones as if to say, "What's all this about?" I don't know what to do here. I don't, because I feel like I'm giving him an 8, but I don't think that that's down to him today. I don't. When has he ever done when has he ever played 4-3-3 in his career? When? There'll be a handful of times, I think.
Yeah, there would be, but it seemed to suit us. When I saw 4-3-3, I thought, a midfield 3, Dina and Coleman might have a bit of a field day, but the work rate of Fraser and Almiron and the 3 lads in the middle were really commendable. And Everton had a bit of an off day, or maybe we just made them have an off day. It is a tricky one, but we have to. Time will tell, won't it? Again, Graham Jones has been there 3 days.
Yeah, I know. This is another thing. Like, can he really have that much change in 3 days?
And as well, good coaches don't always make good managers. Graham Jones had a mayor at Luton. John Carver, good coach, horrendous manager. There are others. Brian Kidd back in the day, great coach for Man United, and now at Man City, horrendous manager when he was at Blackburn. So Sammy Lee, there are others. Google. But should we say 7.5?
Yeah, look, I can see people in the comments saying that I can't give him low marks, and when he's playing, when we've done crap, and give him not give him high marks, which I understand, because to be fair, when we've gone back to it and we've won games, we have given him credit. But what I'm trying to get across is that I'm not sure of how much influence he had on today. But if it is down to Bruce, then it warrants an 8 or 7.5, 8. It does. I'm just saying I'm not sure how much influence he had. So I'm not going to turn around and say a 0. I'm not saying that. Bruce/Jones 8. No, we'll give him an 8. We'll give him an
8. Yeah. Hang on. Graham Jones. Yeah, I mean that I think that's fair, isn't it? I mean, he's been flicking through. I'm using this line quite a lot. He's been flicking through the Penguin book of football formations enough now, so he's bound to come up with one eventually.
Yeah.
Fair play to him. It's a magnificent win, and it's so nice to do a video where we can be positive for a change.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, that was scoring the players. Roll on Crystal Palace on Tuesday, which in my opinion is a must-win game. Let's not get too carried away.
Yeah.
And it's important that we follow up with another victory, because teams below are going to start picking up points. But please do like and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV and an FTV Extra. Lee will be starting the last word now with 40. So go and tune into that. My thanks to Karl.
Thank you very much.
And stay tuned to Newcastle Fans TV.